Good afternoon, Internet. It is I, Eric Arnold, sometimes known as the Big E. It is Monday, March 16th, probably around, 26th in the evening. Now, if there's no sports, I guess it really, now we have no tip-off or face-off or kickoff times, first pitch times. I guess the time of these videos isn't that important. But I am back here in my sports barn, safe and sound, after my tour of Ohio and West Virginia to pick our fantasy baseball team, the Ohio Valley Bush League, holding its 37th annual fantasy baseball draft. All went off without a hitch, no illnesses, didn't see any illnesses, didn't see any panicked people, -1. Really, were you not to have watched the news and you thought those videotape basketball games they showed on TV were real, you would have thought it was situation normal, really. But of course it's not situation normal, we all know that by now. As we all know, all the sports are suspended. I won't say canceled, because that means done forevermore. They're going to play again. Oh, they are. They are. We just got to wait it out. So what's new? Let's talk here. What's been going on since I talked to you last, which I guess was, Friday morning or something? As I said, they're halfway to everything I said that was going to happen. I guess all the bars, the restaurants, everything's closed. I guess it's not closed everywhere. I watched some of the president's press conference here that he just had, an hour or two ago. I think we're getting close to a bottom, if you will, the end of the panic, where we're sort of now all kind of coming to grips with this is our new reality for a little while. I did like that they're talking about a finite time frame. They were talking about 15 days. In other words, let's all just ride this out in our houses the best we can. Sometimes obviously we can't just hunker down and stay in our houses if you've got an essential job or something. But stick it out the best we can, and then after 2 weeks or so, let's see where we're at. The idea being that let's limit the spread of the virus. That way 10 zillion sick people don't storm the hospitals all at once, and then we're Italy. We're basically, in Italy, I think people are dying that normally wouldn't need to die. They just don't have any kind of modern medicine to give to these people. They're out of beds, they're out of ventilators, they're out of medicine, they're out of doctors, they're out of everything. So if you get sick early, you're probably okay. You're tail end Charlie, yeah, you're screwed. So that's what we're trying to avoid here. I'm a libertarian. I absolutely hate to have the government tell me what to do. I hate it. I want to do what I want to do. Generally, I guess one of our mottos is live free or die. However, one of our mottos is not necessarily live free and screw your neighbor. So I can get behind this. I see where we're going with this. I'm with it. I'm down with it. Let's get on board and do the right thing. They say this is what we should be doing. I don't disagree. So hey, I guess I'll be out here in the sports barn making videos about God knows what, because there are no sports. Maybe we'll rename it the Virus Barn, although I imagine it's the virus-free barn. What else was I struck by in the conference there? I think what the president's doing there, everybody's banging on him to do, just swoop in and be a dictator, which I find ironic because there were a lot of people who were fearful this guy would be a dictator. And now here's his perfect opportunity to just establish the land of Trump, just declare martial law and declare whatever he wants to be law, you know, and he's not doing it, and now they're banging him for not doing it. So I find that ironic. But I think what he's doing is basically these calls he has with the governors. The governors, you know, some governors like Cuomo and probably the states that are affected the most are wanting him to do the heavy lifting and declare quarantine and just demand that everybody stay in their homes, and they can't go do anything. Businesses are all closed. They want Trump to say that. Well, and then there are other governors in states that don't have any kind of outbreak or hardly any cases. Like here in Berks County, we haven't had one case as far as I know. Well, those governors are saying, well, wait a minute now, don't shut us down. We're really not affected by this much at all. And you're going to really throw all us out of work because those guys are sick way over there? So I think Trump is probably in the right area there where let the states do it. I mean, if you've got an outbreak, well, then you shut it down, Governor. And if you think you're okay to let it run over there, it's a big country. I mean, it's not like Europe where we're all next to each other. You know, somebody in Wyoming may never get to New York, or someone from New York may never get to Wyoming. So, at any rate, some of the questions he was taking, I don't know. I'm not a big Trump fan. I mean, I think I don't know. He doesn't speak very well as if I do. He's not as smooth as some of our previous presidents. He doesn't come up with the flowery words or the things that would be stenciled on monuments 200 years from now. But he's what you got. I'm struck by, I remembered a scene from one of my favorite movies, 1954, the Caine Mutiny. The Caine Mutiny, if you've never seen it, great movie. It's a play, it's a book, it's a movie. Humphrey Bogart is Captain Queeg. He's the captain of a minesweeper in World War II. And he's suffering battle fatigue, I guess, shell shock. And he's just not himself. So he's the new captain of the minesweeper, and he is, as I said, he's just not all there. He's not making totally sound decisions. The minesweeper gets into a typhoon, and he kind of freezes. So the executive officer takes over, makes the decisions for the crew, and basically mutinies. Puts him on, whatever. The captain's put in his cabin, I guess, and set aside, and the XO takes over. A mutiny. Basically, I guess as far as the Navy goes, the worst thing to ever happen ever. So then they hold a trial where the XO, now, because the captain's not down with this, being relieved of command, Humphrey Bogart thinks, no, I'm not cool with that. We're going to have a trial. I'm putting you on charges, XO. I believe the XO is played by Van Johnson, underrated actor from the 50s. Then Van Johnson is defended by Jose Ferrer, the great Jose Ferrer. It plays the attorney. So Jose Ferrer then torpedoes Queeg in the trial, where he just brings out all his craziness, all his paranoia, and the line admirals who are judging whether or not to hang the XO see what the XO has been dealing with, and they declare him not guilty. And then here's my point. There's a big celebration after the trial where all the officers of the Caine, that's the name of the ship, Caine Mutiny, get it? That's the name of the ship, Caine. All the officers of the Caine are in celebration, and here comes Jose Ferrer, the defense attorney, and they think he's their buddy. So they're like, hey, Barney, hey, it's Barney who won the case for us. And Barney rips these guys. He just blows them up and just says, I torpedoed Queeg for you. He's drunk. And I feel sick about it. And then he just rips these guys because in his mind, what Barney's saying is, you guys should have supported Queeg. You guys should have been behind Queeg. Queeg asked you guys for help when he first came onto the ship. He wanted to be your buddy, but he wasn't worthy of your loyalty, so you turned on him. You turned on him. You made fun of him. You made songs up about him. So when the shit really hit the fan, was it any wonder this guy went to pieces? And I thought that's such a great, point, great cinematic scene. And I kind of think of that. It's like, give this guy some support. Jesus Christ. I know we all think he's an idiot. But stop second guessing every last goddamn thing he does. Jesus Christ. Did you get a test today? Did you get a test yesterday? Do you think it's a good idea to shake hands with that guy over there? Just shut the hell up. Give him some support. He's dealing with something here that really is unique. Well, not unique, but it hadn't been seen in 100 years. So, cut him some slack. Geez, I mean, I think it would help all of us penons out here to feel more confident in what these guys are telling us if we didn't hear this constant undercutting chatter making us not know what to believe from anybody. Anyway, that's my rant on that. Let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. How about that? I saw something here interesting, which I don't know, it's, I thought it was relevant, so I'm going to mention it. Again, it has to do with the virus. Saw this on some guy's Twitter feed named Mark Byrne. Actually, it was my brother that pointed this out to me. Byrne, B-Y-R-N-E. And it was a chart of cases from South Korea and Italy. And it was a percentage of positive rates. Now, what I thought was significant, Italy, and it breaks it down by age group. So Italy, I believe the way they're doing the testing is they're testing the people that report symptoms. I feel sick. Okay, we test you. And then it shows negative, it shows positive. So of those people that they test, 3.7% are in the 20 to 29-year-old age bracket. South Korea, I believe what they're doing is they're just testing everybody. I mean, I think that's where this drive-through testing thing is being talked about, where I can just get in line like I'm going to the ball game, or I'm online at the drive-through window at the bank, and I can just say, I'd like a test, please. And I'm not 100% sure how they're executing it, because the way I've heard it described in two different places over here is that they shove a tube down your throat, or down your nose and then into your throat to get a swab, which seems like it would be really hard to do if I'm in my car. And how do they do that? So I don't know what the South Koreans are doing. But at any rate, they're definitely testing people that show no symptoms. So in South Korea, of all the people they're testing that come up positive, almost 30% are 20 to 29-year-olds. So, we're kind of doing apples and oranges here, but I think what we can learn from this is that if they're testing everybody, and they're only testing sick people, to me that means there is a ton, an absolute ton of these 20, 29-year-olds running around, especially here, where we're not doing any testing. I think what South Korea does is you test positive, they immediately throw you into quarantine. They don't just say, oh, you got it. Well, okay, see you later. I'm sure they lock you down. that tells me there is just an absolute ton of people running around right now that have this damn thing that show no symptoms at all. I mean, for all I know, I have it. I don't have any symptoms, but that's what that means to me. It kind of means to me that this quarantine, may not be the answer. That at some point, you're going to have to lift it. I guess what could happen is that once these 15 days are up, then perhaps we will have the drive-through testing like South Korea does, and then we can start nailing these asymptomatic people that have the virus and throwing them into, locked rooms, quarantine, whatever. Donovan Mitchell, the NBA guy for the Jazz, the second NBA player to test positive. I think there's been a couple others since then, but he is asymptomatic. He did an interview with ABC, I saw. And he said, nope, feel fine. I could play a 7-game series right now, he said. That's kind of worrisome that there are that many people out there that could have this damn thing that show no symptoms at all. But like I said, I think if we have this drive-through testing, we can start nailing getting to these people, so they don't just keep spreading it and keep spreading it. All right, what else? I saw the NHL. They had an idea how they wanted to do their playoff system. They were going to have 24 teams. The top 8 teams, of which would include my Philadelphia Flyers, would get a bye. So the remaining 16 teams would fight it out in the first round, and then the remaining 16 teams would then play a round robin after that, or not round robin. They just play your normal playoff after that. I don't know. You're still looking at July. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do if, they turn them loose and say, okay, you can go ahead and go for it now, and it's going to be June, July, August. The president seemed to think July and August would be when the heat would be off. Again, bad news, yeah, probably, but at least it's a finite date. If I had enough balls, and I don't, but I'd be buying the market tomorrow with both hands, because I think that's what they've been waiting for, some definitive news, some definitive idea. You got an idea what's going to happen. So this is the first time I've heard that it sounds like they have a handle on this, even if it's a bad handle. In other words, it is what it is. I mean, it's going to rip through the population. It's not going to kill all of us. It's going to kill a fraction of us. And it's possible it's not even going to do that. I'm still thinking that it's possible, I'm not going to say likely, it's possible that some of these guys like Rush Limbaugh and Earl Carey are right, and this is just nothing, and we're just going to have a war against Grenada. A handful of sick people are going to show up, and the numbers that end up dying are going to be your basic flu numbers that we have every season, and you're going to say, well, better safe than sorry. At least we we don't have that to worry about anymore. That still could happen. I saw Goldman Sachs. I hesitate to even mention this because these guys were one of the main culprits back in 2008 of the housing crisis, which caused not a depression, but damn near close to it. And they received no punishment whatsoever. So they're either stupid, evil, or a combination of both. They're out there with a prediction that they were telling their clients. They're predicting basically 1.5 to 3 million dead Americans. They say like half the population is going to get this thing. I don't know. I know we move around more than they did in 1918. We also have better medicine than they did. In 1918, the infection rate was about a max of 28%. So they're saying 50. I just feel that's high. And I don't trust these guys to begin with because they're, either A, evil, or B, stupid. I don't know. I feel that's high. At any rate, I'm going to hope it's going to be more in the Rush Limbaugh range, where it's not that serious. But at any rate, I mean, it's going to end it one way or the other. The sun will shine at some point. This time next year, I would expect we're going to be knee deep in brackets and getting ready for the first round of the NCAA. This isn't going to be something that's going to drag on for more than a year. And you know, when things settle down and we return to normalcy, here's a history lesson for you. Normalcy was a word invented by Warren G. Harding, the president who followed Woodrow Wilson coming out of World War II and the Spanish flu pandemic. So he invented the word normalcy, which I've been seeing used around in context of this, which I find ironic. I mean, I'm not even sure people know where that word comes from. At any rate, once we return to normalcy, yeah, you're going to see everything. I'm not going to say it's all going to go back to normal, but a lot of it is. So, you know, this will pass. Let's be somewhat optimistic. In the meantime, I guess I'll maybe go try to find a movie or something to watch, or think of something to say for tomorrow. I guess this video is probably longer than subscriber X likes. He has such a short attention span, despite the fact he has nothing to do. I don't know. I was going to say something, but it's inappropriate for the internet. All right. We'll talk again. I'd say good gambling, but all the casinos are closed. So maybe there's gambling online. Maybe those offshore casinos have some kind of like a slot machine or blackjack action, possibly. That's possible. Maybe I'll look into that. All right, very good. From me to you, good night, good luck, good gambling. Eric Arnold out.